Hi, everybody. Welcome to History 132. I'm going to be your professor, Phil Gaduti. Um, I have organized this course to try to be as efficient as possible, knowing that you only have 7 weeks to complete the material. Let's start with the books. I know some of you have had some questions about that. The books are Eric Foner's Give Me Liberty, which is the I believe it's the 5th edition, which is out right now. If you have a newer edition, that's fine too. That's basically used for background, for you to go over the events and what's going on in history, to help you with some of the assessments, and to help you follow the lectures that are within each module. The other book is a Major Problems in American History book, and that consists of primary sources, which are direct sources from the period that we're studying, as well as some essays to help you along with that period. That book is going to be used for another assessment, specifically that book, when you're looking at the different assessments per the module and even a term paper assignment. So those are the two books. Take a look at them when you get a minute. The syllabus is on Blackboard, so you can find them. The modules are set up so that you have an opportunity to interact in some ways with some lectures that I recorded back in 2018. There's one case actually in the Reconstruction one where I only talk about 2 impeachments, but I think we know that since then there have actually been 2 other impeachments in Congress. So historically, it was a little off. You'll see what I mean. But in any event, those lectures were recorded back in 2018, and I think they're pretty good. They try to cover some of the main ideas that are in each of these modules. The modules are organized into topics. So, for example, in the first module, you're looking at. I keep looking over here because this is where I have the syllabus. The first 2 modules, the first module is on Reconstruction and the West. So you'll have 2 different topics within that first module. And for example, you can look at Eric Foner, Give Me Liberty, chapters 15 and 17 for the background. And in your Major Problems book, you're looking at chapter 1 that has primary sources and chapter 2. If you look at the syllabus, you'll see what I expect you all to read in order to prepare for the assessments. So each module has 2 lectures for you to watch. They're around 15 minutes, 15, 17 minutes. And I recommend watching those, reading the material before you approach the assessments. In addition to the lectures, each module has 2 assessments that you have to do each week. One assessment is a reflection paper. The reflection paper is based on the primary sources that you get out of the Major Problems book. For the first week, I actually give you one other primary source, which is Lincoln's second inaugural address, which you may use for that. So in those assessments, I want you to read the source, comment on the source, use the source directly. There's some instructions on the assignment page. You'll see what I expect. It should be around 3 paragraphs. The introduction sort of contextualizing what you're writing about. So if you're writing about Samuel Gompers and the labor movement, I'd like to hear in the first paragraph what that was all about and why it's significant. Second paragraph should be where you bring in the source, where you give some analysis about what you're trying to say, and then the last paragraph should bring it all together in some way, a short conclusion, if you will. Those reflections are due every Friday during the semester. So you'll have to do 7 of those. And those reflections are worth a total of, bear with me here while I look it up, because I just changed the percentages a little bit. The reflections are worth 40% of your grade. So make sure that you do those, okay? And just a case in point too, when you look in the grade book, while we're on grading, it's not a points system, it's a percentage system. It's somewhat equal throughout the assessments, but still, nevertheless, some things are worth a little more than others. And I think the reflections are worth the most at 40%. Make sure that you take time with these, make sure that you get them in, because if you miss one or you get a 0 in one, it's really going to affect that portion of your grade. So it's based on percentages, not total points. The second assessment that you'll do each week is an exam. The exam consists of short answer questions, of which you will have to do 5 of them. Those short answer questions are based on the lectures and the phoner book. And I may also have, actually, there will be questions on the primary sources as well. Okay, so just to be clear, those exams are based on all of the content that you're reading for that week. The phoner book, the primary sources, the secondary sources if I assign it, which are the essays in the Major Problems book, and the lectures. So make sure you pay attention to the lectures, make sure you go over all the readings prior to taking those tests. It's also imperative that when you begin those tests, you finish them. I try to stress on the website, and I really want to stress it here, that once you open those tests, you have to complete them. We've had some students that have had problems with the internet, problems with the computer. Make sure that your tech is working, because if it's not working, I'm not going to reset the test. I have to protect the integrity of the test and make sure that that everyone is assessed on the same level. So please make sure you have a good Wi-Fi connection, you have the most updated version of your browser, and everything is working well. The last piece that you're going to be assessed on, which is worth 30%, is your term paper. So the term paper is due May 3rd. It's important that you start thinking about that now. It's a short course. The term paper should be 5 pages. It's on a topic, any topic within the course structure. So that's from Reconstruction up through Vietnam. That's right around where we get to based on the amount of time that we have. So pick a topic within that period, and then you're going to use your Major Problems book to try to, as a springboard, to see where you might want to go with that term paper and what you may want to write about. You can email me to ask me any questions about that and see if there's anything that you would like to, any topics, any way that you can approach that term paper. All right? So just to sum up, there's 3 ways in which you're assessed. 1 are the primary source reflections. That's worth 40%. 2, the exams, which are based on the lectures, the primary source readings and secondary source readings in the Major Problems book and the Eric Foner book. And that's worth 30%. I don't know if I just said that. And then the final piece is your term paper, which is worth 30%. I try to create it so that it's not too overwhelming and you can pace yourself with the work. I will release each module each week. You're not going to get it ahead of time because I really want you to pace yourself with the work and not do it all at once. I think some students try to do it all at once and then some of the work suffers. So take your time, ask me questions, and let me know if there's anything that I can do to help. Finally, I've been teaching at Quinnipiac for over 20 years. I've been teaching in the history department and I teach in the education department. Some of you might be studying to be teachers. I'm actually a full-time teacher at Summers High School, and that's where I'm making this video right now. There's my map behind me, and I'm in my classroom. So I love this stuff. I'm happy to help in any way. So do not hesitate to reach out. Let me know. And until then, hold on, just let me make sure that I didn't forget anything. I'm pretty sure I'm good. I handled the books, went over the assessments, and introduced myself to you in the best way that I can in this online world. If there's anything else that I can help you with, feel free to give me a call. Until then, read some history, and I hope that I get to see you around campus soon. So long.